Hey, this is Jim with Fast Leader Show and Call Center Coach. I'm here with David Hadobas of CCNG. Now, for me, when I started with CCNG back in the 1990s, it was actually known as Call Center Network Group. Then it moved to Contact Center Network Group, and now they've been around so long, it's just CCNG. But in the entire time, for that entire period, it was David Hadobas that was actually running CCNG. David, glad to have you here.
Thanks again for being a part of this today. We've had Jim involved for, like he said, the better part of 10 years. I think when I first met Jim, he was shorter, I was taller, but things change over time. We spent a day today with 50 contact center leaders. Tell me what you see today versus different than maybe 5 or 7 years ago.
Well, first of all, I want to point out we're actually here with these gracious hosts at Coca-Cola Consolidated in Charlotte, North Carolina. You can see this vintage sign of Coca-Cola in the back, and we want to, first of all, thank all those people for allowing us to come here. I think for me, what I really was able to pull a lot out of is that the pace of change is accelerating at an ever-accelerating rate, and that we have a lot of people who are now coming into the contact center who maybe don't have a long tenure, that really don't understand or find it difficult that we kind of don't know what's going on if we've been here for a long time. And it really, the reality is because of the rapid pace of that change. I mean, what do you think?
Well, it's very true, and I think it's important having old people like you come to give us a perspective of how we got here. Most of these people have no idea that the genesis of all this was basically the telephone and fax and mail. And then from there, we started growing, and we grew channels, and it became more challenging. And we've heard again and again and again that technology is coming and the phone's going away, but it isn't. And a lot of these people are really struggling with dealing with multiple channels and trying to drive successful service. But they have one thing that has changed a lot is better support from inside the organization with chief customer officers or VP of service. They're really trying to drive a better customer service experience. The multi-channel thing was talked about, though. It's a challenge for a lot.
And we don't see that going away. And matter of fact, somebody was actually asking about purchasing new platform solutions. And we all were really had difficulties in regards to talking about, which way should you go, because things are changing so much with all the different channels that people have to support. So if you're in that decision-making process as far as what should I purchase, and believe me, there are a lot of people are going through that right now. There's a lot of transition and a lot of new platforms that people are looking at, is that you really need to find an expert to help you to do that. Would that be a fair assessment? That's
very, very true. And you could roll the tape back, and so much was discussed that was discussed today was discussed 10 years ago. And so some of it hasn't changed, and then most of it has changed. So it does create a good cohesive conversation. Today is all about driving discussions. Jim did a fabulous job talking about training, very innovative. I like the way you did your presentation with your numbers. It's all about getting these people to talk about their experience and their story. Coke did a fabulous job telling us where they are, so much so that everyone could relate to certain elements of it that was very much similar to challenges that they're dealing with. I think Joe Rogers talked for about 20 minutes and then fielded about 45 minutes worth of questions. And that's exactly what we like to see. We want to see a group get fired up and start asking, how do you do this? And then that leads into things like a town hall where they can talk about all kinds of topics. And again, no bumpers on the bowling alley. These people can talk about as much and as what they want. Our job, stay out of the way, facilitate, and bring people like Jim in to help drive conversations around certain areas.
Yeah, I appreciate that, David. And this is what I have to say is that us as adults, we learn best through communities of practice. It's by doing that interaction with others that are going through some of the similar struggles and can speak our language, and we can kind of connect with and have community with. And one of the best places to be able to do that is through CCNG. So make sure that you go and try to participate in a CCNG event as soon as you possibly can.
I appreciate that. And again, thank you for listening and being a part of this today, Jim. Really appreciate it very much.
We wish you the very best, David.
Thank you.